Man, you never know where Disco Rick is going to turn up next. Right here, we got a record I just found, I just discovered, I just heard about, and I ordered it online. It is Lamb In the House with Grumpy by the Grumpy Old Man. That is the artist's name. This is his only record. It's a 12-inch single. But what's more interesting, or maybe not more interesting, but certainly interesting, and it's to us Disco Rick fans, is that one of the B-sides is an exclusive Disco Rick song, which is only on this 12-inch single, and also sort of the related album, which I'll get to in a minute. But otherwise, it's only on this project. It's not off one of his albums or any other compilation or anything like that. That song is called Lap Dance, and this is from 1994 on Rap Ichiban Records, which is not necessarily known as a bass label. They sort of dip their toes into it a little bit, especially more on sort of the Atlanta side of things as opposed to the Miami side of things. But here they are, in the house with the grumpy old man, and that's one song, that's a separate song. And then Disco Rick, solo song called Lap Dance. Although technically it sort of actually does feature Grumpy Old Man, as we're going to get into. So you're probably asking yourself, quite naturally, who the hell is Grumpy Old Man? Is he legitimately an old man? Is this sort of like an Old Dirty Bastard knockoff? 1994, Old DB would have sort of just come out, but no, nothing along those lines at all. Actually, this is a 95 South knockoff, ripoff, spin-off. Okay, now if you remember 95 South, their biggest hit, obviously, Whoot, There It Is, not to be confused with Tag Team's Whoop, There It Is. Now, if you saw the music video for it, you wouldn't know this because the music video has its own introduction where they're just sort of standing and introducing themselves as a group like, hey, we're 95 South, which, hey, live it up because that's sort of like your only big hit, so you might as well do it. But anyway, if you listen to the album version, or I believe on the cassette singles and all the singles and stuff, just anywhere other than the music video, there's a different introduction. And it's this goofy old man going, hey, Sonny, does anyone know where I can find some booty? And then the music kicks in, and it's a booty song called, Whoot, There It Is. And actually, his voice does pop up once or twice elsewhere in that song as well. And that's exactly what this is. That came out in 1993, was a huge monster hit, of course. And somebody had the terrible idea that that grumpy old man character should have needed his own record. His own record would at least make money. And so they came out with this Grumpy Old Man in the House with the Grumpy Old Man. And as I said, this is a 12-inch single. Now, there is a full-length album, which is a compilation album. And it just features all bass songs. It's also on Rap Ichiban. And so then, as you would imagine, it's much more sort of Atlanta-heavy. We've got like Kilo, as opposed to sort of who you would expect, although there are also some Miami artists, and we'll get into that. In fact, there's actually a couple more songs on the B-side. This is a 4-song 12-inch single. So I guess I'll just say real quick, the other 2 songs are Another Level song, which is right off of their only album, which was on Rap Ichiban. If you've never heard of them, they're just sort of a very short-lived Atlanta-based group on Rap Ichiban, and that was sort of their biggest song, I guess. It's the title of their album. I don't even know if it was a single outside of this, or if they even had any other singles. They're just sort of a quick come and go group on Rap Ichiban. And then DJ Smurf has a song on here, which is, pretty decent. It's actually co-produced by MC Shy D, but he doesn't appear on it at all. But he did work on the instrumental, apparently. But certainly of interest to us, far more than those 2 songs, is the Mundo Bizarro A-side. Now, if you listen to 95 South, in fact, you know what? Let me just play you a clip of it, really, just that intro a little bit, just so you get a taste of it. Otherwise, you know the song, and you don't need to know the rest of the song anyway, but I'm sure you do, because it's just a huge, insanely popular pop song. Okay, here we go.
Excuse me, Sonny, do you know where I can find some booty?
So now, you just heard the dirty old man voice on that record, and now when you hear this, you'll know, if you had any questions in your mind, maybe it's just a coincidence, Dirty Old Man is just sort of a very kind of open gimmick. I mean, you could have sort of like the 2 Live Jews or something like that. They were also old man, Miami-based kind of stuff. No, this is definitely, you're going to hear it, absolutely meant to be him. As he says from 95 South, hey, Sonny, anyone know where I can get some booty? Hey, Sonny, anyone know where I can get some bass? And the voice sounds almost exactly the same. It might possibly even be the same guy. His real name is in the credits here, but it's just sort of a generic regular guy name, and I don't know who the real guy was on 95 South. It's probably not. It's probably a knockoff. Different label, different year, cashing in on 95 South and ripping it off. So probably, and actually this weird, you probably can't even really recognize what it is. This is a weird face in profile, and that is meant to be the Grumpy Old Man. If you actually see the full album, which as I say is a bass compilation on Rap Ichiban, which is titled Sunny, anybody know where I can get some bass? Again, that same line. They have a fuller, more clear picture, but the same character on it, and that is definitely meant to be the Grumpy Old Man. And yes, he totally just raps like a grumpy old man. That's the gimmick. That's the joke. You know, he says lines like, you know, hey, you get off my grass or I'm going to kick your fucking ass, stuff like that. That's all it is, over a very pure classic, actually not bad, but very, you know, definitely not taking any chances, definitely not doing anything original or creative, just very pure, run-of-the-mill, but well done instrumental Miami bass track. So, with raps of the Grumpy Old Man, and there's some girls on there who are sort of on the hook, who sort of go, oh no, it's a Grumpy Old Man, and it's a really silly, goofy song, definitely a novelty song, and unsurprisingly, this is his only record. So then Disco Rick is just one of those artists who's on that compilation album, and even that's sort of weird, because 1994, that's basically the very tail end of Disco Rick making records. This was after he was putting out albums or anything like that, when Vision Records, which was just sort of putting out a whole bunch of random stuff on the cheap, would sometimes also include Disco Rick songs in there, so it would be on a compilation or a 12-inch single. It'd just be these very cheap Disco Rick songs, and Disco Rick, by the way, worked for Vision Records, so there was a connection there. And so lots of artists he worked with would wind up putting out cheap singles and compilations on Vision Records, and that was really basically it. So to have this come out in 1994, to have Disco Rick get a new song on another label, is pretty surprising. And it's pretty good. It's well done. Disco Rick sounds good on it. But like my problem with Grumpy Old Man is that, again, like that instrumental, it is pure cliche, take no chances, nothing creative. Miami bass song called Lap Dance. You know, nothing fantastic or interesting lyrically. It is exactly what you think it is. You know, Disco Rick does a good job because he's a talented guy and this is his milieu, but it's really otherwise nothing compelling or interesting. If you weren't already a Disco Rick fan, you probably wouldn't even really notice the song when you heard it. Like, again, it's well done, but you just, you know, like if it just came on the radio or something and went off, you wouldn't even ask, like, what was that song I just heard for the first time? It would just no blip on the radar at all because it's just really that kind of generic. And Grumpy Old Man is not generic. It is instrumentally, but because it's got this goofy old man and this rapping his goofy old man voice saying, get off my lawn, that at least really stands out and is very distinct. Whereas Disco Rick, he's got a good voice and all, but he's, you know, just rapping about getting lap dances and stuff. There's really nothing distinct about that at all, unfortunately. So it's a pretty cool, fine, definitely good anecdote and stuff for us Disco Rick fans. And, you know, if you're watching my videos, you know, hopefully you're a Disco Rick fan like me. But either way, so that's pretty interesting. And if you're not interested in Disco Rick, then I'm sure you're still interested in Grumpy Old Man. I mean, not necessarily interested like, oh man, you got to get this record, but interested in like, it's a novel, interesting story to see a short video about. So I will just play you a clip now of Lap Dance so you know what I'm talking about. And that's it. This was Werner, and this was the Grumpy Old Man in the house with Disco Rick. Oh, and briefly, you're going to hear it in the clip anyway, but Grumpy Old Man is actually on the intro to Lap Dance. It sounds like maybe he sort of recorded little intros and skits in between each song for the compilation album. I don't have the whole album, so I don't know, but I guess that's probably the idea. You know, he probably says, oh, you know, we're going to get down now with Kilo or something like that, because that's basically all he does on the Disco Rick song. He's not really involved with the song itself once it gets started, but he is on the intro, so you do get a little extra Grumpy Old Man. On that compilation, he only has the one song, and this is it. The rest is just other Rap Ichiban artists, and maybe a few other Miami or Atlanta-based artists that they kind of co-signed, like Disco Rick, who's never signed, as far as I know, to Rap Ichiban. He certainly never put out any other records on that label besides this. So, okay, now, again, clips, and then I'm out. So, thanks for watching. Just a really weird thing I wanted to share. Just got it. Peace out.
Excuse me, Sonny. You know I can find some
all you need. You get the hang of it. If you actually want the whole song, track it down and find the compilation, but that's all you need to know what it is. Now let's skip to Disco Rick.
Disco Rick. I've been hearing about this here dance the girl's doing down here. Could you take me to make me a lap dance?
And there you go. He even drops the year in the track, so you know this isn't just something he had sitting around in the studio for a few years that he passed off to Rap Ichiban. He recorded this new, and he even mentions having an intro, and the intro is by Grumpy Old Man, so I guess he knew exactly what this was for and that he was going to be working with the Grumpy Old Man. So there's that.